What's the connection between Esther and the 7 churches in Revelation? I'm Samantha Corcoran, and this summer, my husband Ryan and I went to Turkey for an incredible tour of the 7 churches of Asia. One of these cities was Sardis, that we read about in Revelation chapter 3. And it turns out there are some unexpected connections to the Esther story here. The first thing you need to know is that Sardis was made the westernmost capital of the Persian Empire in 547 BC by King Cyrus the Great. This is important because years later, his son-in-law Darius, you'll remember him from the Daniel story, who lived in Susa in the easternmost capital, needed a better way to communicate with his subjects in the west. And the second thing you need to know is that King Darius built this road here in Sardis. This is the royal road, and that solved his communication problem. It connects Sardis in the west with Susa in the east. This road is 1,600 miles long and connects all 127 provinces in the vast ancient Persian Empire. Now, the third thing you need to know is that King Darius had set up the very first Pony Express system on this road. Riders called couriers galloped across the Persian Empire, changing horses every 15 miles at relay stations along the way. Riders could cover the full length of this royal road in 7 days. For comparison, a normal caravan traveling along this route could take 3 months. This was an impressive system for its time and was even mentioned by the famous historian Herodotus. He said, "There is nothing in the world that travels faster than these Persian couriers. Nothing stops these couriers from covering their allotted stage in the quickest possible time. Neither snow, rain, heat, nor darkness." Sound familiar? So what does all this have to do with Esther? Fast forward a few years to King Darius' son Xerxes. Now, in Esther chapter 8, verse 10 says, "Mordecai wrote in the name of King Xerxes, sealed the dispatches or letters with the king's signet ring, and sent them by mounted couriers who rode fast horses, especially bred for the king." And now you know where those fast horses went. They traveled on this royal road all the way to Sardis within 7 days. Just enough time to get the message out for the Jewish people to protect themselves. And the final thing you should know about this connection between Esther and the 7 churches in Revelation is that Esther's boldness didn't only save her Jewish family in Susa. Her obedience to God saved her people, including the Jewish people here in Sardis. And on our trip, we saw evidence of this Jewish community here in Sardis. We toured this incredible synagogue from the 3rd century AD. It's one of the largest ancient synagogues ever excavated. And this is a photo of our tour group sitting on the bema, the elevated platform where God's word was read. And looking through these ancient shops, we saw symbols of Judaism and Christianity. The Christian community likely came from Jews who were converted after hearing the gospel of Jesus. And we see that these Christians had a good reputation and were still active in the late 1st century because of the letter they received that we read in Revelation 3. So Esther's boldness was what allowed the Jewish community and later the Christian community to thrive in Sardis. And how amazing that we can see evidence of that boldness still today.